Okay, I think we're finally back. I'm trying to get this new computer set up, still working here. Yeah, I think everything looks good. So, let's see. Let me go ahead and... So, joining us is right now just Hayden. So, Hayden is back now. So, hi, Hayden.
Hi.
So energetic, I know. And I think everything's working all right. We'll see. I feel like my resolution's shit, though. I don't know how to fix it. Nope, don't change monitor. No, don't. I already went through that whole fucking thing.
Don't you do it.
I don't know. It just looks fuzzy to me. 3840 by 2160 is supposed to be better than 1080, right?
Yeah, that's 4K.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. It still just looks just kind of fuzzy on my screen. I don't...
Yeah, I got nothing for that.
Oh, well. Multiplayer. Are you in Halo, Hayden?
Yep, I should be. I see you in here, I just can't join you.
What? I don't see you.
Well, that's lame.
It's doing that thing again, and I'm on good internet now.
And I don't know. I think it's just it's a Halo issue at this point.
I think so, too. What? Damn you, NVIDIA, I did not want you to pop up.
Crossplay, too.
Oh, you're on your Xbox?
Yeah.
That would definitely explain it.
Yeah. Well, if we were on computer, I wouldn't be using Skype, I could tell you that.
True.
I just
So I
used
guess
the Steam thing.
I think with that, well, we just had to like wait a while, and eventually it showed us both up.
I can see you on mine, I just can't join you. It says you're in the main menu and title screen.
Nah, I'm in.
Oh.
Let's see what happens when I try to search. Nope, lets me search. Okay, so I search.
Yeah, now it says you're in Find Game. I still can't join you. You know what? Let's just do this.
Oh yeah, that works. Wait, how do I? Accept. Yeah, I don't know why it
There we
fucking does
go.
it. It was doing that when I was on shit internet. Now I have like great internet, and it's still doing that.
Okay. And then I made you the session leader.
Okay. Any particular thing you want to play? Well, I guess I doubt Tower and them are going to join, but
I don't know. Doesn't matter to me.
then we just do free for all for right now. Then
Yeah.
just dick around a bit. I'll put Action Sack on the list as well.
Is Action Sack still a thing?
Apparently, I just set regular Slayer, Action Sack, SWAT, all that stuff, just to have some variety. But
it says that we're only playing Reach.
oh no, well, damn it!
Too late now. Oh,
We're doing something in Reach apparently. Oh well.
like Reach.
Yeah, this is gonna. I guess I might as well retire this from the multiplayer podcast and just Hayden and James dick around.
Basically.
I think that's what it's gonna end up being. So if you're watching, yeah. Can you hear my chair a lot when I move?
Yeah, but it's
Damn
okay.
it. Fucking chair. Fucking everything. God damn it.
Let's see. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that pop. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it feels kind of weird playing on an actual computer again. I mean, I'm still using controller just because it's Halo, but...
Yeah. I don't know if I could ever play, like... I can do Halo 1 with mouse and keyboard, and that's just because, like, that's the one that I'm sort of
What?
used
I shot
to.
you in the face. I don't know, I'm decent at mouse and keyboard on Halo, but I'm still not better than I am when I'm just using a controller for Halo. Like it's strange because you know me, like I actually don't mind using mouse and keyboard. I prefer it in a lot of cases for shooters, but like if we were playing like Unreal Tournament, I would never use a, you know, controller for something like that. I would always be using mouse and keyboard. But for some reason, Halo just suits well to mouse and, or to controller. It's the way it was made to be played.
I was gonna say it was kind of designed with a controller in mind, so.
Yeah.
And I tried to do Reach on keyboard, like when it was just Reach, like on PC, and I was just this just is wrong.
Yeah, I got decent at it. Like I got good enough to a point where I could hold my own, but I was just never as good. However, then again, I might be also still comparing myself to how I used to play back in the day, where like I used to could like hold my own like in really competitive games, and now I'm just like barely holding on to regular games. There was a time I was in the rank of 40s in single Slayer.
I've never been able to hold my own all that well, but on keyboard and mouse, it's just a disaster. It's literally like if a 2-year-old was trying to play for the first time.
I don't know. I feel like there's certain things I did way better. Like when I play like snipers, like it was awesome. I love playing on mouse and keyboard for snipers. But on just regular Slayer, nah, ain't doing that shit.
Well, I mean, you always will aim better with a mouse. It's just, for me, it's the movement part of it that I just don't like that much.
Not being able to like jump around at all, really, for the most part. At least not effectively. Like you can, obviously. Yeah. Watch out, Hayden. There's a guy right there. I don't know why I'm giving you that warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halo's kind of a game where I think movement is decently important, in which case I do think a controller typically works better for most movement in games.
Well,
it definitely is better for driving.
Yeah, case in point, Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Like everybody that I know that plays it on computer, they're like, God, the driving in this game is such shit. And I played it for a little bit on my Xbox, and I'm like, no problems here.
Yeah, it's kind of like GTA. I still hate driving on mouse and keyboard. Like everything else, like shooting obviously is way better because it doesn't have aim assist anyway. So like shooting is great on mouse and keyboard, but driving, I hate it. I'll still play Grand Theft Auto with controller just for the driving aspect.
Yeah. I think that they did a pretty good job with their PC release, though.
Oh, they did an amazing job with their PC release for sure.
Even though GTA Online has just become like a huge cash grab.
Oh yeah.
And Red Dead Online's even worse.
Yeah, I heard with like how much everything cost.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Nobody has that much time to put like into fucking Red Dead Online. But single player A+ game.
I still never played Red Dead 2. Like I loved Red Dead 1, never played Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 2 is pretty great, and like on the single player portion of PC, like if you have a good PC, just beautiful, amazing, incredible. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really touch the online and Rockstar games anyways. I didn't even bother with Red Dead. I was just kind of like, after GTA 5, I know what this is gonna be.
I still really want to play through all the new Doom games because I haven't done that yet.
Well, they're on Game Pass now for PC as well, so.
Yeah, but I cannot get Game Pass for the life of me to work on PC. I do not know why. Like it keeps saying like cloud storage can't be found on all the fucking games I play. It doesn't save anything.
Huh.
And it's a shame because like I want to play stuff like Gears Tactics.
Yeah.
I know it's like a one-time playthrough game. I know it's not like, you know, a phenomenal game or anything.
That's what makes it good for Game Pass, though.
Yeah. And plus, I kind of miss Gears, and it looks like it's kind of a bro fest, and that's what I miss about Gears.
Yeah. I'd say Gears 5 is still... It's definitely not a bro fest, but it's not a bad game.
My thing is, it felt like, for what little bit I played, it felt like it was just a different game. It didn't feel in the Gears universe.
Yeah.
That was kind of, and I had that complaint about Gears 4 too, like just the arc. And again, my big thing about the Gears change, though I have a huge problem with what they did, making all the men like less big and just bulky. Like I like the fact they were all steroid pump monsters like that. I just thought it was awesome. Like it really was, again, a bro fest, and I really enjoyed that. But changed up my biggest complaint about the changes they made from Gears going past 3 is actually the architecture. I like that, like almost like new age gothic style of architecture. It was something totally, it was something like totally unique to break session. It was something just totally unique for a game like that, and it worked just so damn well. I was a huge fan of that architecture of just every city you went in, just a way that it felt unique and it felt Gears. I loved it. It felt brutalistic while at the same time like it once was elegant. It was an amazing choice of design for the way they built their cities and like just a world around it. Jeez.
Emperor Elmo.
But that was my biggest complaint, and like it seemed like they got away from a lot of that kind of just they got away from the atmosphere that made Gears, and it just was hard to get into after that.
I would say that Gears 5 feels a lot like Gears 2 did. Because I like actually played through like the whole game. And well, strangely enough, like do you remember those like fucked up things in the lab tank from Gears 2?
Yeah.
They were called sirens, I think, or something like that. They show back up in Gears 5, and like it's honestly pretty horrifying. Like Gears 5 literally opens with like half of the people that you like came to know over the game just getting fucking nuked. And I'm just like, well, geez. I don't know. I found its storytelling to be like pretty good, honestly. Like even though Cade isn't really the best like lead character, but I don't know.
I don't know, like I feel like I think Gears 2 is probably peak Gears, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like
that,
the Horde mode was really good. Well, I mean, it was brand new for Gears 2, but you know what I mean.
It was still one of my personal favorites before Horde mode.
Yeah, I liked it better. I liked Horde better in 2 than I did 3 and 4.
I feel like they just kind of overcomplicated it.
5, I didn't even play Horde.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like they got to a point where they started kind of like, let's add so many new features. And I was like, part of what made Horde kind of good to me was the lack of features. It just, hey, you're on this fucking map, and yeah, you're just on this fucking map, and just, you know, fucking survive. Yeah, bro, go for it.
Yeah. Well, and the Gears 2 maps were a lot better too.
Oh yeah, they were better in there for everything, like for not just Horde, but for just in general. It was great maps.
That's again, like I like Xbox and stuff, but I will kind of admit, like a lot of their like flagship franchises are kind of just shells of themselves at this point.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I don't know what the new Fable game's gonna be like, but
I mean, it's Fable, so I'm gonna hold out hope like I always do, but doesn't mean I expect it to be good.
I think it'll probably be better than Fable 3, but maybe not as good as 1 and 2. But
I mean, it's not hard to beat.
My favorite.
I didn't mind 2. I'll perfectly. I'm one of those guys who I just want to play Fable 1 again.
Yeah.
Like I'll be perfectly honest on that. I am one of those people, and like I get they want to, and I thought 2 was a great idea. Like, hey, let's bring it to like the industrial age. That's really cool. But I miss like the knighthood and the, you know, just classic heroes and shit. Like the first one felt more like D&D, and like the other ones felt more like just some other RPG. I don't know. Like it just didn't feel like the same thing. Triple kill, nice.
I thought Fable 2's story was pretty good, at least.
I thought it was alright. I thought it was a little convoluted with some of it, but
Yeah.
overall it was like,
I
because
don't
you
know.
disappear and you come back and you find those people who, like, you know, you, I guess, were with before, and I think, what was it, you had to either like absorb their souls, or you had to like,
Wait, what?
yeah,
Fable
didn't
2?
you do that in Fable 2?
I have no idea. I don't know what you're
Like, you
talking
could choose
about.
between that versus like having them join you or something, or something like that.
No, it was literally just recruit these 3 heroes and
I thought there was a bad way you could do it.
say what?
I thought there was a bad way you could do it.
No, it's literally just recruit these 3 people and go fight Lucius, I think his name is. Or Lucian.
I will
Lucius,
say it did
something
give you.
like that.
I think it had the best ending of, the best like moral dilemma for a decision. Like, that was one I was really like
Oh, yeah.
contemplating over, and that's one of the few times in RPGs where I've actually really gone like, oh god, like I don't know what to choose, because it was either like save your loved ones, so like you get your, because like in that one, like your dog, your wife, your child, everyone is dead by the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, shit, so I can bring them back, or I can bring back the millions who fucking died in the invasion. So it's like, or you can become filthy fucking rich. And it was like, and then the worst part was, like, if you chose your family over the millions, family members of the millions who died would, like, curse your name afterwards. Like,
Oh yeah. No, yeah,
And-
it was rough.
it was a fucking great decision, because I was like, you know, will you do like fully for the good? It wasn't just, you know, hey, will you bring everyone back, or will you be filthy rich? Nah, they basically gave you like a real fucking decision that would have been difficult for anyone to make, right? Like, in real life, everyone knows the decision they probably would make if it was save the fucking world versus be filthy rich. Like, for the most part, people are gonna say save the fucking world. Like, it just you know, it's the
Yeah.
normal good choice. But when you
Yeah.
go, hey, bring back all the people who died in this great war, or bring back your wife, your child, and your dog, like, that's actually
Your
fucking
dog
tough.
that took a fucking bullet for you.
I know.
Like, that was so fucked. When the
So,
dog
like,
just jumps in front and just, I was like, oh man.
God, it was so great. Like, Fable 2 had the best, like, ultimate decision at the end, for sure.
Well, and like, I know you love Jack of Blades and stuff, but I thought Lucius was still a pretty good bad guy.
I'll be honest,
Like, I mean,
don't
they,
remember
they really
enough
gave you
of
a
him.
reason to dislike him.
Like, I remember the beginning portions of him, of course. Like, you know, like, kills your sister or your brother, depending on, you know, which sex you choose to play as, kind of deal.
I thought it was still your sister, even if you played as a girl.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't know. I never
Yeah.
played as a girl, so I have no clue.
Yeah, no, it's still your sister.
Oh,
They
okay.
just call
well,
you
then, yeah.
Little Sparrow, so like it's still like gender neutral, regardless of which
And
one you
Sparrow
pick, basically.
is a good one because it's like, you know, call back to the original.
Yeah, because she's always like, "Come on, Little Sparrow." It's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
No, the scenery was, again, 2 did a lot of things right.
I liked the breadcrumb trail for the objective, like just like the
Yeah.
little things. I don't
Yeah.
know, and like hand holding and
I was about to say.
like
that. So, and no, I think hand-holding, wasn't hand-holding in Fable 2?
no, that was Fable 3.
Are you sure? I thought hand-holding and stuff like that was Fable 2, and then you could take them out on dates and things like that in Fable 3.
No, that was 3 was the first one, because they made like a big deal out of it with like your romance.
No, they got romance right in the 3rd one.
Yeah, like in the beginning of the game, like where you had to choose between like the crowd of people or your girlfriend or whatever.
See, 3 started off with promise. 3 started off with promise, and then it
That
stayed
whole
pretty
twist
good.
of just like, oh, I was an evil douchebag to like try to save the kingdom or whatever.
So,
like,
I didn't mind that
that's just
twist.
So lame.
I didn't mind that twist, actually. I just was pissed at what they were saving it from, like just the darkness, and that's it. Like,
Yeah,
it didn't
like, that's
feel
some
real.
Destiny
It felt
shit.
like it felt so half-assed at the end. Like, why
Yeah.
not make it like the minions that were in Fable 1? Have a callback, or even do fucking Fable 2. I don't give a shit. Like, have
Yeah.
like some ultimate evil, because if you haven't built up to ultimate evil at this point, you need to choose the evil that you already have some like backstory with. And just the darkness is not enough.
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, that's just like some Destiny shit that they just like slapped together.
Yeah, and like,
Like as far as the style of storytelling, it's
yeah.
just like, okay, what sounds bad? The darkness. Yeah, that's good.
They did a lot of things great in Fable 3. Again, the interactions with people was awesome. There were some fun little quests. There was actually some really fun
Oh, the
quests in
side
Fable
quests
3.
of Fable 3 were the best fucking part.
The D&D one.
Yeah, the guy. Yeah, when you get trapped in the D&D game.
And then
And
a giant
like,
chicken.
Worst game ever.
And like how you got into
that was so great.
how you got into the evil cult was by going there with a bunch of baby chickens and eating them live or whatever. It's just,
I don't know. That's
okay,
what I
Milky.
miss. Is
Oh,
like,
God.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of games that don't really have like a sense of fun like that anymore.
Yeah, Fable 3 had still a good sense of fun, and the no, I think it was Fable 2 that started with the chicken running away, right? Rocket's a game, really.
No,
Jeez.
that was Fable 3.
It was
Fable
okay.
2
Like that was great. That was a
Fable
great
2
intro.
started with the bird flying all around and then crapping on your head.
Oh yeah, that was still a good one.
Yeah.
No,
but no,
Fable's
the
one of the
chicken
few-
one was the best.
Fable is
Like
one of the
the
few that
chicken
has
was
like a good
so
sense of
shit.
humor and as well as being an epic RPG. Like
Yeah.
few games find that balance, and Fable always kind of has. Like, and it's a shame it's been so long since a good Fable's really been out. Again, and I'll still say Fable 3 is good. Like, I think it's
It's
a
not
good
as
game.
good as the first two.
Exactly. If Fable 3 was just by itself as a game, I would have said that's probably a really cool game. I just wish the ending was a bit better. But
Yeah.
the only reason I didn't care for it as much as I did is just simply because, again, I'm still trying to... I have to get away from comparing.
Yeah.
However, I also
I
don't
was-
think that's like a fallacy. Like, some people say, like, that's a fallacy to compare it to what once was. I'm like, I really don't think so. Wait,
No.
my game froze for a second. Like, I really do think it's like... Well, I mean, that's what it once was. Like, you can accept that things have changed, but is it as good as what it was? Like, that's kind of your bar of success going
Yeah.
forward.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why, like, every Star Wars is compared to Empire Strikes Back for the most part. It's like, that was it
Oh,
at
yeah.
its best, and, you know, it wasn't as good as that. So that's how we know that, you know, kind of where it stands and, you know, its place.
This
But, like-
one I just take as good as the original trilogy as a whole, and I don't even like
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi all that much.
I mean, I'll take as good as Episode 3. That's my bar that I would like to see. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
want it to be as bad as Episode 2. I think I could, if they did a new like trilogy all over again, I would accept one that was as bad as Phantom Menace if it set up enough things to make me want to watch more. Because I still
Yeah.
hold, I do not mind that movie that much, but what like to me it's like I would still withstand. I would want them to be on par with though Episode 3, because I think that is still like one of those it's good. It's not great. It's like it's still really good though. Like it has its moments. It's
Yeah.
really good. You wouldn't say it's like the best of all Star Wars movies, I don't think, in my opinion. So like if something came
Yeah.
out around that range, I'd be happy. Like to me,
I'd say The Force Awakens was around that range, but then
I
the
would-
other two.
I still say it was. I still say it was below Episode 3. I don't, and I
yeah,
still.
not as original. It's like even like literally when we got out of the theater, Ryan was like, "Yeah, that was just a new."
Like at least
It's
Episode 1
like,
did
yeah.
something different with it, is my thing. And again, I know I'm like an
Yeah.
Episode 1
was
defender.
different.
Like I really am. Like I feel like every podcast turns to me defending Episode 1. I really don't think it's that bad of a movie. All
I
the
mean,
way
I'd say
through.
Attack of the Clones is the worst prequel.
Oh, I totally agree. Attack of the
So,
Clones is the worst prequel.
I
Again,
wouldn't even say the Phantom Menace is.
because again, to me, Phantom Menace still has so many redeemable qualities about it that I am perfectly fine with it. But
Yeah.
and
honestly, like, I don't know.
also, I'm just gonna say this: I don't think Jar Jar's that annoying. Like, I get it was fun to say, like, he's annoying for sure. He's worthless. Kick him out of the movie. I agree, but he's not that fucking annoying to me. Like, it's just like, okay, he's there. Like that fucking robot with
Yeah,
Lando to me was more annoying than Jar Jar, because at least
Oh,
Jar
yeah.
Jar didn't have a direct he had a direct role, but it was like I don't know. It didn't feel as bad. Like, I guess it was similar to the robot now that I think about it, of like uniting a force to fuck up, you know, whoever you're fighting. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually very similar, but I don't know. I don't think Jar Jar's as bad as the
whole,
fucking
like,
robot was.
him winning the battle on accident is kind of but I mean, like you said, I don't really like, especially just because they like reduced him in the later movies.
Oh yeah.
Like he doesn't even have a single line in episode 3.
You see him mournfully look at Padme. That's it.
Yeah. that's literally it.
But like, here's the thing. Him being goofy, to me, like, I don't like it. It is a kids movie, so I kind of get it. But like the robot being stupid, like, even as I can't even look at it through like a child's eyes and see any redeemable factor of that, right? Like, that's kind of my thing.
Solo isn't really even a kids movie, is the thing.
Not really. Which I don't mind. I wish they would make some like
I don't get like family friendly like romp from. Well, I mean, I really don't get that from Revenge of the Sith either, if I'm being honest. I mean, the Phantom Menace is about the only one where I'd go like, yeah, I'd show a kid that.
I might would show episode 2, you know, maybe take out Anakin, you know, slaughtering the sand people, but I killed them, the women, and the children too, and my child is just sitting there like, shit. Then episode 3 comes around the corner.
I mean,
what are we gonna do, Master Skywalker?
We were fine.
Oh, I know.
I know, like I remember so many people were just like, what are we gonna do, Master Skywalker? Like everybody was like, oh my god, how horrible! And I'm just like, yeah, he's on the dark side now. That's what he does. He just kills kids.
Yeah.
Like I honestly wasn't like torn up about it, like at all. I was just like, yeah, I mean, they're just showing Anakin being evil. Like, okay.
I was like, man, this is awesome. He's so terrible. Like, this makes sense for him being Darth Vader. Like, that was my thought process as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is pretty gratuitous now.
I mean, admittedly, to me, what's probably even worse than that, seeing him burning alive, because, you know, they don't show the kid's dying, but, man, when he's burning, his skin's peeling off. It's
like, yeah. No, that honestly did get me when I saw that in the theater, though.
I mean, and here's the thing. I still say Hayden Christensen, not a bad actor. He gets given some shit lines, but for the most part, I think he can play the role well. Like, I do imagine him as a young Darth Vader or Anakin. Like, I don't mind him.
If you ever like sit down and watch the Clone Wars cartoon, which granted
I've watched a decent amount
task because like it's out of order, and
I'm about to say, no, I've watched a decent amount, and he's portrayed way better than that. I 100% agree.
Yeah,
like that is what I wish we could get in the movie. Like that is awesome. I love that.
Like where you actually feel bad for him being Darth Vader.
Yeah, because
like
he has all these good moments.
With the prequel movies, it's just kind of like, okay, this is just happening because this is what you know happens. You know, I
do like how they give him in the animated series kind of a reason why he doesn't really trust the council that much.
Yeah, beyond just not being made a master.
Yeah, like that's just kind of.
Ahsoka even leaves the damn Jedi Order.
Yeah, I mean they fucking betray his Padawan. Like no fucking shit. And it turned out she's innocent. Yeah. So it's like, well, fuck. I mean, spoilers, I guess, but
yeah,
it
spoilers for a 10-year-old cartoon at this point.
Yeah, but it's like
just about every Star Wars fan has seen.
And also, you get a chance to see him as a general and basically kind of saying things to the Jedi Council like, dude, y'all know nothing of fucking war. Y'all don't know how to win a fucking battle. I know how to win the fucking battle, which makes sense for him being, again, you know, Darth Vader, like the fucking
and
leader
of
the fucking Empire.
Actually getting along.
Yeah. Like, and here's the thing, I get the fact in a 2-hour-long movie, you have limited time to show a lot of that stuff, so I can give some slack, but it is worth mentioning just how well it's done in the fucking series. Like, it is done so well.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, literally, besides, well, episode 1, they basically have no interaction at all. And then episode 2, he's just, like, jealous of it the whole time. Or
hey,
just,
1 second.
Like,
lost the lead.
If you can see, we got a little hat for the baby now that says James on it.
Oh, I
And-
can't see it. If I'm
I
playing,
know you
but
can't
still.
see it because you're in the game, but and then a little onesie that says James Michael B on it.
Ah,
And what we got?
You got a bib.
A bib that says James. Awesome. For those of you who do not know, it's a junior, so it's James.
no, this is all for
So that
James.
kinda
This
plays
isn't
off
the baby hasn't
the
even.
bakery.
This is all for me. So my mother-in-law has a bakery that's Simply Sweet, so a Simply Sweet blessing. That's nice. I love
There's
it.
a onesie that matches.
Oh, nice.
And then
Nice.
burp cloth.
And it's a bear because we have outdoor themes.
And then little
A blanket that says
blanket
JJ.
with tabs they like to cuddle with.
That's really soft. What's with the rock?
So my aunt, so it's got a letter with it, explains it.
Yeah, it's one of those
Salt rocks.
yeah, salt rocks. I love
Did
these
you
things.
just lick it?
No.
My aunt, actually it's not salt rock, it's
Quartz.
quartz crystal,
Oh, it's
rose
quartz-
quartz.
oh.
Rose quartz.
But she's like really knowledgeable about crystals and their
It-
meanings and stuff. I don't know.
It
She's
has-
from Florida,
It has a gentle and soothing energy.
and so
It's warm and allows baby to feel loved, nurtured, and protected, like a loving cuddle while being away from mom.
See, we have crystal power now. Isn't that great? I mean, it looks cool, so.
yeah, so it'll fit in the nursery. If y'all get this framed, it'll make sense. You know, somebody will be like, ah, okay, I see what you.
Well, I mean,
mean,
it fits in the nursery because we have a
It
mountain. We have a
does.
mountain
You're
theme
right.
anyway. So, like having
But-
like
this makes it make sense, like in the scheme of things. Like y'all are not like witches and
Yeah.
warlocks. You know, not
Which is
saying
so
that people who have rocks like that are, but you know what I mean. Like it makes sense. Like when I opened the package, I was like, she sent us rocks? What in the world? That's so weird.
I mean, I think it's cool.
The
'cause
letter was
again,
really
it's very
neat. That was
like whenever
sweet.
we go to the mountains when I was little, you know, we did that whole panning for
Yeah,
you know minerals and all that stuff. So,
You see what he's using?
That's awesome.
but no, that's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well,
Well,
no,
these aren't from her.
well that is the bottom is,
The going home outfit is.
Yeah.
and everything else.
The other
is
stuff
from,
are gifts.
yeah. From
Awesome.
people in Tipton. Stop by the bakery.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that was nice. You there, Hayden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gee.
Too bad there's not a lot of viewers tonight.
Oh,
We got
wow.
4.
Oh, jeez. Hey, I got stay positive. guess
How did
had
I
a
do all
positive
of that
KD.
and still was only down by 1 for the person second to last?
I don't know. Because I tried to kill you like 2 or 3 times.
I like that. She got that rock and was like, I'm not saying y'all are like witches and warlocks or anything.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole crystal stuff. I mean, it'll look good in the nursery regardless, because you know it's a mountain themed. So
It's
course
just when
it's
you
pretty
say like crystals and stuff like that, like you know who that makes me think of.
do I?
Like the guy we know that's like what do you call it? Didn't he have that like piercing or something that he said was supposed to like balance out his energy or some stupid crap?
I'll be honest, I do not know who you're talking about.
Starts with a J. A bit eccentric guy. Not eccentric, just I mean sometimes downright unhinged. Excuse me.
Did we go to school with them?
No, a recent friend. Relatively recent, I guess.
Relative. That starts with a J.
Yeah. Do you I just kind of feel bad for him now because you don't even remember who he is.
Have I
Kinda
met this
let-
person?
Yeah, the guy whose name starts with J. He waited up at his girlfriend's house, like she came in and he was just like waiting for her in the house or whatever.
I'll be honest, I don't know.
He tried to. Yeah, that's just too dark for a stream.
You-
The guy
is a-
that we know, that he dated that girl and lived with that other guy that was in the Navy. His name starts with a J.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
wait, I never heard that.
That he was what? That he'd
He
be
was
into
into
crystals and
crystals?
stuff?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he is, but I'm just saying that if he was, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, okay. See, that's why I was confused. I was like, I don't know anyone who's into crystals. I mean, I do, but they're like, like, geez, I am just rocking the sniper rifle right now.
I know quite a few people on Twitch that are into crystals and like have claimed that they've seen spirits and say, "Oh, I'm a Sagittarius, so that means I'm never gonna tell a lie." And I don't know. I just put it all under gobbledygook bullshit.
Like, I like
far as
crystals
I'm
a lot.
concerned.
Like, I think they're really cool. I don't think they radiate any particular energy of, like, the cosmos or any of that bullshit. I just kind of think they're cool.
Yeah, it like we have a reason, a scientific reason as to why crystals form.
Yeah.
It's like they're not.
Now, there is, like, some stuff for, like,
just-
those, like, was it that Himalaya salt or whatever, those giant salt rocks? Like, there is a little bit that can be said about them, just in the sense of they dissipate, slowly, and just, it kind of is, like, in the air because, you're breathing it in. So, like, they, I guess there's something possibly to that, but I think those, like, salt lamps are just kind of cool looking. Like, that's kind of the reason why I want one of those.
Yeah.
And mind you, I am very much hippie-ish. Like, I have a lot. Like, I'm becoming more and more of a hippie. I swear to God, in 3 years, I'm gonna be like living in the fucking forest, being barefoot all the time. Like, I'm getting so close to just being full out hippie. But I don't think crystals do anything. Yeah, I don't believe in astrology. I mean, I believe in, stars, but
Yeah. I mean, that's, constellations are a thing, sure, but
the whole astrological signs and all that bullshit
Oh.
is kind of like,
I think it's just kind of fun, but like when you actually start letting it like
when you
when
actually
you make
give
it when
real
you make
credence to
excuses
it.
for yourself, yeah, like saying like, "Oh, that's just me, being a whatever." Or like I'm in a bad mood today because Venus is out of whack or some stupid shit. And just like, I mean, I'm sorry, but like if you just met a crazy person on the street and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling so great. Venus is really out of whack today." I mean, what are you gonna say to that?
No, don't get me wrong. I'm
The
a
line
Christian.
between
I have
sanity
like
and
some.
insanity is becoming very blurred.
Like, don't get me
today.
wrong. Like, I'm a Christian. I have some weird ass beliefs. I understand this. Like, I get it. But I don't know. It just there's some things. I think there's like a gradient of weird, and there's eventually you like go past like a certain line of weirdness, and I'm just kind of like, nah, I can't. Like, again, everyone, a lot of people believe in anything spiritual. It's always gonna be something weird, I guess. But I don't know. Astrology still I just find it kind of strange. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, hey, you know what? More power to you. But I think you're kind of weird. But hey, live your life. You think I'm weird? I mean,
It's true.
If anyone wants to get on me for calling people who believe in astrology weird, I'm pretty sure those same people would say I'm weird for being a Christian. So, I mean, cool. We both think we're weird.
I
Let's
hate
move
all
on.
of you. I mean, I don't know. I will give myself a little bit of credit that I find that there's a lot of people that are atheists that only want to get on Christian stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, I don't get
It's
that.
like-
I'm like, I totally get if like you're an atheist and you get like on everything. Like, I totally get that. But
Kind of just 6 to one, half dozen to another. I don't know.
also, I have to say, there's also a lot of atheists out there who get almost like vindictive over people who are, you know, any bit religious. Like, they
Yeah.
like almost like just hate them over it. And I'm like, listen, I'm the actual religious person. I thought I was supposed to one who's supposed to like hate people for believing different things. Come on now.
Yeah. I don't really hate anybody for it.
I know
but
you don't. Yeah, I'm just saying
I,
there are like some of those like there's
Oh,
like
yeah.
you know there's the militant atheist, and then there's of course the militant Christians and the militant Muslims and the militant just everything.
Yeah.
Why I'm of the belief we should all just lay back, smoke some pot, and get along.
Sure.
I'm a very simple man.
Let's see. Oh, speaking of which, the glory of God just killed me.
That's what you get, you heathen.
Yeah, checkmate, atheist. No.
God shall smite thee by sending over the glory of God. 1-1.
I don't think that's quite how that works. I don't think he smites you with his glory. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Hey, all I'm saying is Old Testament God, he's a vengeful bitch, okay? I'll tell you what.
yeah. There's a reason Jewish people fear death.
Yeah.
If I had to go meet that fucker. Full disclosure, I don't hate Jewish people. I'm an anti-Semite.
You know what I love is how, like, we made a bunch of jokes about everyone, but because we mentioned the word Jew, we have to all say, but we're not, we were cool with them. We're cool with them. We didn't have to say it about the Christians or anyone else, but if one particular person gets brought up. However, I make it very clear. I love everyone and just wish everyone would chill the fuck out and just relax and be happy and kind and love one another. And
I was gonna
Just
make a
move along
joke
the
that
day.
probably would be considered anti-Semitic under the right circumstances, but I'm not. No, I'm not gonna do it.
I love how I just do this whole thing saying love one another.
Well,
We
no, I
all
was
need to
gonna-
get
I was gonna
along. And you
make
just
some
go.
joke
I was
about
about to
how,
make an
like-
anti-Semite joke.
Well, because like you were saying like we can't say anything about Jewish people, and I was gonna make a joke about like how they're all like connected or well connected or something. So like
I mean, that is somewhat
they've
true.
got eyes and ears everywhere.
I mean, they do disproportionately run a lot of stuff in the world, but it's not because of weird conspiracies, people. It's just because
Well,
I mean,
In a
look
weird
at
kind
the
of way,
culture.
that's
Like,
by design because like in a lot of like Eastern European countries and stuff, they couldn't like own land
yeah,
and stuff like that. So I think they had to thrive by being like very financially savvy.
Well, I think it actually goes beyond that. I think it actually has to do with the fact of, I mean, think about when you're a kid, you're just studying nonstop for your bar mitzvah. Like, I mean, they and their culture in general just really heavily pushes studying, learning history, and understand. It's a big part of the religion is learning and
Yeah.
finding out information and being intelligent. And when you encourage a kid to do that from a very early age, well, I mean, you know, you're going to have very smart kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I
That is-
really think everyone could literally learn a lesson or two with how they actually do raise their children. I mean, you don't have to follow all the crazy laws or anything like that. I'm saying is in like they are very attentive to education, and they will find a way to help you learn regardless, and all sorts of
'Cause I'm
different ways.
sorry, but if I had to give up pork, I'd be just shit out of luck.
Yeah, same here. For fuck's sake, I ran a catering business. We did whole hog.
I
Damn,
mean,
I
you
got
could
bulletproof with a
serve
sniper.
it, you just can't eat it.
See, that would be even more torture.
It's like if you were like, I don't know.
Why
like
do you
if
think
were
I'm why do you
Jewish
think
guy
I'm a
that-
Christian?
well,
It's the
no,
one Abrahamic religion where I can eat pork.
true. guess, does Islam have like? Well, they have the same dietary restrictions, but do they have any that are different?
I know that, yeah, because they have to stay halal. I know, so there's like a couple.
Yeah,
There's a
it's the
couple
same
different
thing as
things.
kosher, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
No
Yeah.
shellfish, no pork.
And I'm not sure about the Jewish religion. I know in the Muslim religion, like if you're getting a like organ transplant, it has to be from another Muslim who's actually kept halal as well.
How the fuck are they supposed to? I'm sorry.
Do you
I
really
was
want
just
to know? Because
shocked.
there's a certain way they do.
Is there like a Muslim like organ donor registry or something? Or
Yes, it's called Chinese concentration camps. I mean, I hate to get dark with it. but
Jesus.
That I mean, they literally are harvesting people's organs in those camps. And
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, where is that written in the Quran? Like,
so I don't know because I've
I
read.
mean, I'm
through
pretty sure that's just a rule that somebody just fucking made up. I mean, it's all made up, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's a rule that like, it's not
that,
like in the.
it's a
original
rule that
text.
yeah, it's a rule that came about afterwards, is what you're saying. But yeah, I don't entirely know because it's been a long time since I've read anything in the Quran, to be honest. Like I did that whole thing where I read through a decent amount of it. Same thing with the Torah as well, and the Torah is nice. I actually really enjoyed that, though it doesn't translate well, unfortunately. So like the Torah, it's kind of somewhat difficult to read just because of the way it's written, which is
Yeah, you
kind of a pain in
pretty
the
much
ass.
have to know Hebrew or Yiddish or whatever language it's in, I guess.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to read while translated. It's kind of like reading the Iliad translated. Like you can get what you need to get, but certain
Yeah.
parts just don't work well. And it's even more so like anyone who's read like ancient Greek or Roman literature will know it's kind of a pain in the ass. Now picture that times 10, and that's the fucking Torah, in my opinion, at least.
Shit.
It just
Shit like
translates
Shakespeare and Beowulf is still technically in English, and we have to have that translated. So
Yeah, it took me. So it's kind of. I'm not sure if it's actually embarrassing or not, but I guess I find it a little embarrassing. I'm not sure. Maybe other people have gone through it too. But like when I first started reading Shakespeare, it was so hard for me to understand what the fuck was happening. Like I had to read a bunch of Shakespeare before I could understand Shakespeare.
I saw Hamlet live, and it literally felt like that episode of Family Guy where like they're all just kind of lost watching a British play, but then Chris is like, he popped the googly or whatever. Like the whole audience was Chris, and I was just like Lois or whoever. I was just, like everybody's just like, like, oh yes, ripping good show, yes. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
I mean, like I read a pamphlet beforehand, like of the plot, so I got the gist. But as far
I
as
need to
just,
reread
like,
through. I need to reread that because or Hamlet. It's been so
as
long.
far as like, what does Hamlet mean when he says this? Like, no fucking clue.
Yeah.
But
So
just,
to me,
like,
I'll still say I think the best one to start with when it comes to Shakespeare to start understanding like that style of writing and everything. I know it's cliche, but A Much Ado About Nothing is such an easy to follow along with play that's very simply written, but is also like well written. Just it's a great play. It's just a great play. I know it's like the like bullshit cop out answer when it comes to some of the Shakespeare
I'd say
questions that
Romeo
people
and
have.
Juliet is probably the bullshit cop out answer.
Well, because fucking almost no one's actually read Romeo and Juliet. That's why. They read like fucking like 3 chapters in high school, then watched a fucking movie. Like that's what it fucking is.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, but let's face it, that's kind of how a lot of the high school readings go. You read like a couple chapters as a class, and then you watch the movie.
We didn't do that with Huck Finn, which I'm kind of grateful for. I'm actually really grateful that I got to read that whole book,
Huck Finn is still a great book.
especially
Like,
now that it's going to probably be banned in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, some places already did, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's been a book that was challenged even before like cancel culture was a thing.
Which is a shame
So-
because, I mean, obviously I'm not going to repeat what's said in it, but, you know, it's the vernacular of the time and the lessons behind what's, again, it's context. And the context is
Yeah.
he learns a valuable lesson of not judging people based on the color of their skin or anything like that. Like, that is in the book.
Yeah, people like to pretend that like oh, Mark Twain was some like terrible racist or something, and that he just loved to write that word over and over in his book. And it's like that's like the furthest thing from the actual truth.
Yeah, it's very much just, again, when the whole book is, I mean, obviously the plot line of the book is not him realizing that, you know, racism is bad. That's not the plot line. It's kind of like a subplot in a way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it damn it.
I really do think it's one of the great American novels, though.
Oh, it truly is. No, it truly is. And if not the great American novel, I really think it might be one of the most iconic of all American literature. You could go, if I had to share what American literature is as someone who's not in America, that's the book I would probably show them.
Yeah.
So I just think it epitomizes so much of what American literature is. But yeah, I love Huck Finn. I know we actually read 1984 all the way through. Actually, I don't think we did. I think I read it all the way through. I think they did that thing where we read a few chapters and they said, well, everyone finish reading it, then we'll watch the movie. And like only like 2 of us actually fucking read the rest of the book. Because that fucking great book. Absolutely love it. And straight enough, I love 1984. I do not own a copy of it on my bookshelf. I am super excited though, because I actually just got a new book. And I've already read through it multiple times at this point, but it's a great one. It's the commentaries, or not the commentaries, the meditation. I don't know why I said the commentary. That's Caesar. The meditation by Marcus Aurelius. So I have like a flimsy like paperback copy that I've always kind of gone to. The thing is about though, for one, that one is a very poorly translated copy. Like it just doesn't. It just doesn't really. What does that say? Ass the big dick. Marco Polo.
Acas the big dick. Acas. No idea.
If I'm saying that right after talking about like fucking the Meditations, for God's sake. One of the greatest works of literature ever in the history of the world. The paperback I got is not really the best translation of it, but I got a really good hardback copy now. I have it on my bookshelf actually right behind me. So it's like a really good hardback copy. It's actually very well translated. I'm super excited, and so I'm going to go back and read through that again. It's such... Anyone out there who's watching this, read the fucking Meditations. It is a very short read and has more insight than any one man should have ever had. I do not know how the hell, while doing everything Marcus Aurelius did, he managed to write such a fucking masterpiece. I get the fact it's basically his journaling and his thoughts, but my God, it's no wonder he is the greatest emperor Rome has ever known. Like, some people go, well, Augustus was great. No, Augustus was good, okay? Fucking Aurelius was great. Like, a lot of stuff you read about Augustus is, of course, after his death and all that stuff. The fucking Meditation, that's just fucking his writing, alright? Like, yeah, Augustus has a lot of great lines, of course, like, on his deathbed, who knows what line is actually true or not, because, there was the one that was like, I leave.
Yeah, it's all...
I was an emperor when Rome was but wood, and I leave it now of marble and stuff like that. Some really great quotes. I think that one's from play, though. I'm not sure if that one's actually real. But,
Well, like how et tu, Brute isn't what Caesar probably actually said.
Yeah.
When he died.
He more likely went, ah, ah, ah. That was probably his last words.
Like,
if you call that words.
Well, that was from a Shakespeare play.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody just kind of accepts it as, like, actual history.
Which, to me, does show how much pop culture can influence society, because even though we don't view Shakespeare as pop culture, for the time it was pop culture. Like, so it's why I do get a little peeved when I see modern movies be so historically inaccurate, because the truth of the matter is there's going to be a lot of people who are going to believe that going into the future more so than actual history. Like, jeez, that dude got fucked. Like,
history is very rarely taught.
Well, look at the Boston Tea Party, right? That's I think one of the greatest example of misunderstood bits of history, of everyone's like, well, they went there and raised hell basically. It was it was a crazy they threw all this tea in there and just rioted and had a good old time, all this crazy stuff. Like, they make it out to be like a bigger deal than I think it actually, than historically it actually was. Like, it was a big deal in the sense of the message it sent, but they were very calm about what they did. No one was ever hurt. No the only bit of private property that was destroyed during the Boston Tea Party was a lock that basically blocked the door to for the tea that was of course owned by the crown anyway. The funny thing is, the very next day, a new lock appeared on the ship to be replaced. So the only bit of property that actually broke during the Boston Tea Party, they replaced literally the very next day. It was actually a very calm bit that actually happened in history, yet they make it out to be like it's some crazy ordeal. It sent a message, but it wasn't like what media makes it out to be. Or, I mean, a lot of people really think like The Patriot is like real history. Amazing movie. I love The Patriot. Awesome movie. Not even remotely historically accurate. Not even remotely historically accurate. It is a great movie, but
yeah,
like I
don't even think I've ever actually seen it all the way through. If I'm being honest.
So good. It's so good.
I'm not a big Mel Gibson guy.
His speech he gives like before the war even happens, like basically you say it's war, but this war won't be fought in some foreign land or anywhere else. It'll be fought between in your backyards. It'll be fought in the sight of your children and all this stuff. Like, it's a great fucking speech because he's anti-war at first with the British, and it's an outstanding movie, but it does irk me not historically accurate. Like, you don't have to be perfect. Like, Saving Private Ryan isn't perfect, but it also doesn't go against history in any way either. That's why I'm a huge fan of Saving Private Ryan. Like,
yeah,
it stays true to almost every regard.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
oh jeez,
it's that kind of historical fiction that kind of I think does it right. But like you see like shows like Vikings and stuff, like it's no, Vikings actually I watched some more of it. It's more accurate than I thought it would be, to be honest, but there's still so many things that's just so out there that I'm like, come on now. Well, I mean, the fucking Vikings didn't do their... I know it's stupid, I get it, but they didn't do the fucking hair like that. They didn't even, like, use their shields in the way they're using... Like, a shield wall on fucking Vikings looks fucking pathetic for what it really was. Like, show what it really... I don't know. I'm picky about history. I love my history.
Yeah.
And
like
I do...
gruesome twosome. Like the gamer tag here. That's just really funny.
That is awesome. Yeah, I just worry that more things are going to get misinterpreted in the same way, what happened to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And E tu Brute. I mean, it's a great line. If we gotta make a fake line, I guess it's okay.
And it is Latin, even though they didn't really speak Latin in Rome that often, did they?
The aristocrats definitely did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, because like
they all spoke like Greek or something.
Nah, so a lot of the like wealthy, like the well-to-do senators hated Greek, like they despised it. Now, everyone knew Greek because it was a trade language. So for the most part, at least during that time of Roman period, a lot of people just still spoke Greek. Going further, when they started expanding more into Gaul and into basically when they went to places like Germany and all that stuff. That was all Latin because those people didn't have any interactions with Greece in the first place typically. But when they were still fighting like the Carthaginians and stuff like that, it was the trade language was Greek. It's what everyone knew, but they didn't like it, or the aristocrats in Rome didn't like it. They thought it was a very feminine language, and they didn't like anything that had to be feminine. They wanted everything to be very straightforward, masculine. In a very, they were stoic, they believed like, control your emotions, all this artsy crap, no. So, which, I mean, there's some validity, it depends on which side you go to on some of the stuff, like, stoicism itself I highly recommend, but at the same time, art is amazing, appreciate it, big believer in like a lot of that kind of stuff.
If we didn't have a lot of art, I mean, we would probably have, that's just as much lost to history. You know what I mean? Or that's available to us historically.
I should probably preface kind of a little bit about it. So Romans had they liked art, but they typically liked a different style. So most sculptures, it was funny. So the best way it was told to me by a professor was, if you want to know which statue is a Greek statue versus a Roman statue, are its arms broken off at this point? If it's broken off, more than likely it's a Greek statue, because they had always exaggerated features with their arms and kind of how they were standing to such a level that, of course, the statue, of course, breaks over time because it's easily breakable, right? Because they had their arms far out and, you know, doing all these crazy motions typically. But if it has most of the statue still intact, it's probably Roman, because they did most of their art in such a way where a lot of it, you know, it was very stable. It was very structural, you know. So, like, if you see even a guy with his hand out, there might even be like a backdrop to it to make sure that hand would never break off. So they still liked a lot of art, but they wanted everything to be very kind of literal, very, you know, sturdy. Very, they're very practical.
Basically, what we went away from,
yeah,
with the Middle Ages and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, they were a big fan of practicality. Is probably the best way to put it. If it wasn't practical, they didn't like it.
So, even though the Italian Renaissance kind of went back to that hyper realism,
which I like a lot. However, I think my favorite like art style of, like, I guess if it went kind of more medieval, is still that Gothic art style. I still love it. It looks. I'm a big fan of Gothic art and Gothic architecture especially. I mean, just my God, their cathedrals are just magnificent. Now, to be honest, they look more satanic than they do Christian to me. Sometimes they look evil, but they just look so incredibly just immensely powerful. Like I could, like, how could you walk into a building like that in the Middle Ages and not think like, oh my God, these people have like secrets of the divine? Like, this is unreal how this is made. So I'm a big fan of that kind of architecture. I mean, I like architecture a lot in general. Like, I hate the fact of how I hate American architecture. I despise it. I really do. I despise it in all of its forms for the most part. I think it's basically too pragmatic almost. Like look at like apartment complexes, like in that, especially that, you know, new age style where everything is very brutalist, right, and industrial. Like, I hate that style of architecture. I despise it. It looks depressing. It looks dystopian. It looks like what I imagine 1984 to look like, right? Like when you go into New York and see like all these just, you know, these towers where everyone's packed in like fucking sardines. Like, it's depressing to look upon. Well, if you go to somewhere like Spain and the way its streets are laid out, its buildings are designed, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. Even the bad parts of it look amazing.
Well, I think just because Europeans have had the benefit of being around a lot longer.
Oh, yeah. No, true. And I do think there is examples of good American architecture. I think that classic kind of like, you know, that classic like country bridge that goes over, you know, a lake or something like that. Like, I think that's a good example of good American architecture because it has a unique feel to it. Are you going to be in
Bridges of Madison County now, Jim?
I think it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And like the kind of those log cabin style house, like the kind of like frontier style house, I think is a good example of American architecture that still does somewhat exist. So I guess I take back, I don't hate all American architecture, but even though it does take from many other places, there is something that when you see like that log cabin in the woods that you can tell if it's American or if it's somewhere else. And I do love the American frontiers style of development. I do love that, but just modern American architecture, I think, is depressing and bleak. Like, you look in a suburban neighborhood, every house looks exactly the same.
Well, I mean, that's just by design.
I know, and that's kind of my point, though. Just everything is so uniform these days when it comes to our design. I'm like, no, to me, like, your house.
Look at cars, even.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And that's just not really an American thing. That's kind of every auto manufacturer at this point.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. Which, I mean, a lot of that, granted, is for safety and practicality. And
which is why, to be honest, I was kind of, as ugly as everyone thought it was, I was still kind of excited to see the Cybertruck. It was unique. It was different. I was just excited to see something that looked different, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't like uniformity is good in some ways, but like I feel like when you're trying to express something, and I feel like a house should be an expression of yourself, and
Well,
because
that's
of
why
it,
you decorate the inside, I guess.
yeah, but like that's why like I love when I go into a neighborhood and there's that one house that has the crazy nice lawn. I don't mean the lawn where the fucking grass is like a fucking rug. I'm talking about the lawn that has just like a beautiful garden and multiple different types of trees growing all around it and all sorts of different things like that. I love that so much. Just seeing people actually express what they enjoy in life with their design choice of their place. Like I love it. Which again, I guess leans to this hippie-ish of me saying, anti-uniformity, just get, express yourself and all that jazz. But like, I don't know, it's getting depressing seeing like neighborhoods. Like, I do not want us to live in a neighborhood after this. Like, it's nice just, safety-wise, hey, we're in a nice neighborhood. You don't have to worry about any crime really for the most part. It's good. But everything is just so structured to a point it's almost depressing.
Yeah. I kind of get what you mean, but I don't know. I guess I don't pay attention to a lot of that stuff, being honest.
Clearly, I have too much time on my hands. Yeah, I won.
I don't know.
I don't know how I got onto a rant talking about architecture and beauty and nature.
I guess just because, like, growing up with my mom, like, who's obsessed with, like, constantly changing things around in the house and, like, this and that and blah, 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 that...
See, I don't like that.
I really... Like, like, those memes of, like, how can a man... just live in an apartment like this, and it's just like a TV and an armchair. Like, that's straight up all I really need. I couldn't give, like, less of a shit about, like, decorating a house or how it looks or... I mean, like, as long as it's clean and functional, I really don't care.
I think that needs to come first. However, I do think one of the pieces of advice was pick one room in your house and make it as beautiful as possible. And of course, by beautiful, it means however you want to describe beautiful. Like, for me, this office is beautiful I have right now. I have my bookshelf laid out in front of me. I have my 3 monitors set up. I have my light fixtures here. I got this sweet mic stand. That way you can't hear the thuds of anything, as well as my medals on the wall from all the runs I've done and races I've done. And my deer antlers over here and my deer antlers over here. Like, I like, to me, this room I have made beautiful. Even though it's not, I guess, what you consider quote unquote beautiful. Like, I think, like, having like that man cave, like that one room that you've just made yourself, that you designed yourself, that you just decide to make your own, I do think gives, I don't know, I think it does add something. I think it does add something to someone's life. But I don't think you should just be changing nonstop. I think that's kind of where, like, I think at that point, that's something else.
Yeah. Which is, it kind of reminded me of something that I saw on Reddit the other day where the guy turned his basement into, like, an old-fashioned, like movie rental place. Like, the inside of, like, a Blockbuster or something like that. And he's got, like, all these, like, I mean, like, probably thousands of movies from his own, like, personal, like, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. But then somebody, like, all the people on Reddit were just like, well, gee, look at this guy. Somebody's got fucking money. Like, I'm just like, can't we just, like, appreciate this kind of shit?
So they worked
and
really
say,
hard
hey,
and managed to, like, have something that they have always wanted? Like, I mean, yeah, let's shit on that guy. The guy who apparently has worked really hard his life and, really set his mind to creating a space that he really wanted to create. Yeah, that's what we want to shit on.
Yeah, and there were like fucking toxic. Like,
don't
half
get
the
me
people
wrong.
that go on Reddit complain about how bad Reddit is.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's all fair to make fun of it in the sense of, like, man, that's fucking weird. I don't know why you would do that. Because, I think kind of everything's fair game to make fun to a certain regard. Because guess what? People are going to find my space weird too. It just kind of, I think it's okay to express ourselves to that level. Like I hate the whole thing of where you criticize someone and instantly everyone goes, whoa, that's just how they want to live their life. Like I get it, dude. I get it. I get that that's how they want to live their life. I'm not opposing it. I'm just saying I think it's stupid. It's all like it's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying, oh, fuck that dude. I'm saying, you know, wow, I don't get it. That's just kind of weird. It's like when I make fun of like furries. Like I don't really like hate people who are furries. I'm just saying I think it's kind of stupid. It's kind of weird.
Well, it's kind of like the whole like, well, that's just your opinion. Like no shit. I know it's my opinion. Like it's coming out of my fucking mouth. Like of course it's my opinion.
Well, unfortunately, I think we're getting to a point now where like individual thought is kind of like frowned upon, where it's like we have this collective mentality of it sometimes. And I'm like, no, we can. That's kind of what makes the best discussions is when you say, "Wow, I think what you're doing is kind of dumb," and I go, "Yeah, but look at all this," and I start, you know, saying all the stuff I enjoy about it, and we start having a discussion. Like that's where the fun happens to a certain level. And if you still don't agree with it, then it's like, yeah, well, you know what, I get it. Not for everyone, but hey, I enjoy it. And then you go, yeah, cool, you enjoy it, all right, whatever. Like that's like good. Like why don't we have these discussions? Like now it's like frowned upon to ever challenge anyone's preconceived notions about something. It's like, again,
well, now it's all about like having a diverse perspective, or you know, whatever that isn't really all that diverse.
The only way you have a diverse perspective is if you have to defend your position over and over and over again, because at that point you can understand everyone's argument against it. So until you can understand people's argument against your opinions and your own decisions, you don't have a diverse perspective. You have your perspective, and you yell at everyone who disagrees with it. Like,
yeah, because I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of stuff where like, I don't know. Now I like, since I'm kind of a regular watcher on Twitch, like I'm always thinking in the back of my mind when somebody says something like, "Oh, this is not going to go well with like this person or that person," or you know what I mean? Which I don't really say anything out of sorts for the most part, but at least not intentionally. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, just cut people some slack every once in a while. I mean, especially like, I hate to say it, but a lot of people on Twitch aren't exactly the most socially graced, I guess.
Well, it's kind of like
there's gonna be misunderstandings about stuff.
It's like if I was in like someone's Twitch chat or whatever, and I made a joke and they got offended by it and said, "Dude, that's kind of fucked up," you know, maybe hold back. I'll be like, "Hey, my bad. I'm sorry. Whatever." You know, I won't make that joke again because I'm a nice guy. But if you say, "No, fuck you. How could you even think such a thing or say such a thing? Oh, you're such an evil human being." At that point, I'm gonna go, "Well, dude, fuck you." I'm gonna say it more like, you know, who the fuck do you think you are? Who gets to decide what is like an evil? Because it's not just I don't like it. It's like you're a terrible person. So like again, if someone gets insulted by a joke I make, for the most part, I'll usually apologize because I get my sense of humor isn't everyone's sense of humor, and I like dark humor in a lot of ways and fucked up humor. And Lord knows I have crossed a line once or twice in my life. I'll tell you that. I take that back. I've crossed a line, you know, a baker's dozen. There are some jokes, my God, I'll look back and go, I can't believe I made that. That was horrible, and I should never have said that. Like, you know, there's high school jokes I'm pretty sure I said to you plenty of times that now I'll think is repulsive and terrible, and who would say such a thing? But at the same time, you know, it is what it is, right? It's a joke at the end of the day, as long as the intention, again, intent is important. It can be terrible and you shouldn't say it, but the intent does still matter about what was said. Yeah. So I'm still of the opinion of like, if someone comes into a chat right now and says some terrible, awful shit that I don't want in the chat, I'll just say, hey, maybe chill out. You know, I won't get mad at them. I'll just kind of go, hey, you know, maybe tone it down a little bit with that.
I think a lot of people take the preemptiveness on it because they want to appear to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they want to.
Well, because you have this thing going around now of like silence
like
is violence and stuff.
Yeah. Well, like with something even like, if very little like actually offends me unless like I don't know. Basically, unless someone is making like an incredibly personal attack on me or something. And even then, like now, I don't know. It's just kind of like, well, who are you? You know what I mean? Where are you coming
Yeah.
from? But like, if I was a Twitch streamer, I would have to think about what offends, you know, let's say if I had 120 people watching. You know what I mean? So I don't really envy anybody that's in that kind of position because
Well, it's kind of like how
it's something like while it certainly there's very little that would offend me, you know, it's not really just about what offends me. in a
yeah,
way.
and I get that for sure. Like, I mean, you know, for the most part, we try to keep politics out of this, especially, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously people have very harsh feelings one way or another about politics typically.
Yeah.
And, you know, because you get banned too easily on Twitch for mentioning politics, so you have to be careful on that front, too. But,
Yeah.
like, there are tons of things that, like, Nick has said, right, that I want to, that I would love to have a conversation about and talk about and examine more and really go into detail with. And it hasn't been of late, obviously. So, Nick, if you're watching, I'm not getting on you. Don't worry, buddy. But, you know, there was a couple times where I had to go, yeah, chill. And
Well, I mean,
try to
even
shoot the
plenty of
conversation
things that
over.
I've said.
And the same thing,
think
and it's things that I've
I think
said.
I think everybody except Tyler basically has had those moments.
But like, and the thing is, like, that is more so because I don't want this channel to turn to anything political at all. I want it to turn to just us having fun playing fucking video games. Like, you know, if I want to do something political, I'll make a fucking political channel. I don't want that in video games. So like, I'll keep that out. But for the most part, like, I keep it out in the sense of what we discuss. If someone hops into the chat and there's a bunch of people, listen, they can argue all the fuck they want. I won't read the chat. I'm not gonna. I won't read a political chat. That's just how it's gonna be. Like, and obviously some things in culture are tied to politics. Like, of course, someone being kicked out of a role for a movie or something like that. There's some, you know, there's some things that, you know, could be mentioned in those levels, sure. But like, for the most part, if someone like puts in like, I hate so and so or I love so and so, I'm just not gonna read it. Like, that's, if it gets out of hand, maybe I'll consider banning certain words at that point. But for the most part, like, maybe it's also because I really don't care what also other people really think of me that much. So maybe there's also that. Like, if someone got on me, like, if someone said something horrible in chat and I didn't, like, directly just condemn it outright and people said, he must think alike, I'll be like, you clearly don't know me. Goodbye. And just, like, go about my day like I really just do not fucking care.
If someone that likes me or that I like thinks of me that way, then that would maybe go, okay, maybe I need to change, you know, X, Y, Z. But like, yeah, just a random person, honestly, like,
I look at it this way. If I made a spicy joke, right?
mm-hmm.
And let's say that for whatever reason this channel was big and multiple, you know, tons of people watched it. I made a spicy joke about X, right?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, there's people going, can't you believe James, you know, hates X or supports X or any of that stuff. I know the people who actually, like, care about me and who I care about, I feel like they're smart enough to know that I was making a joke if I said something horrendous, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the people who actually know me know I'm not like a terrible, vindictive person who hates almost anyone. For the most part, I just say everyone needs to get the fuck along, and we just all need to lay back and relax a little bit. Yeah, I'm the nature dude. I want everyone to get close to nature and just like chill out near a pond or a stream and maybe again just relax. Like, so I know the people who I care about won't believe some bullshit that's being spread on there. You know, I ever got popular enough to the point without it even matter. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who do care a lot about that stuff are people who probably don't have but so many close people in real life, and most of their close friends are in the virtual space. You know what I mean? Which, you know, nothing against that. Obviously we made friends with Nick in the virtual space, right? Like, there's nothing at all against that. But I do think the people who care more about that are people who have most of their relationships are kind of built around a online presence
Or
more
if
so
it's
than a personal
their
presence.
career.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which
But even
both
then,
of those can go hand in hand. But
even
still.
then, I still say, even when it comes to career, people need to be more ballsy and just sit there and say "fuck you" when people are, accusing people of stupid shit. I mean, I've quit jobs before because and for way less of reasons than that, to be honest, and I'm no worse for wear because of it. So,
Yeah.
I just think people also need to just kind of also be a bit more, like, for the most part, is an old joke about like cancel culture, especially, that if you don't apologize, you don't get canceled. Like, typically most of the time, if you just don't apologize and just kind of keep doing what you're doing, most people just forget about you and move on to the next person. Like, obviously, if you do something that's actually worth apologizing for, apologize.
Well.
But it's kind of sad that, like, even when someone does apologize, no one goes, well, I'm glad that you understand now, and I really hope we can go from here. Now it's like you apologize, and they just kind of yell at you saying, see, you knew better, I knew it. It's like, dude, they apologize.
Yeah, an apology doesn't really mean anything when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not saying as far as, like, the person doesn't mean it, but I'm saying that, like,
society
who
doesn't
you're
care.
apologizing to holds, like, no value in it.
Yeah,
so then it's,
yeah,
like you said, you may as well just, like, not even apologize.
And it's a shame, because there are stuff that people do they shouldn't do, and actually realizing that you made a mistake, I think, is good. And that like, if you say something that really is terribly offensive, again, there's jokes I've made that if I made now, like, I would be, or if I heard someone say now, I'd be repulsed by.
Yeah.
And in a way,
Or even,
if I knew
the
anyone
whole James
who was
Gunn Twitter thing.
yeah.
He's just one example, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, the reason I get on him for is because he also encouraged canceling other people. That's kind of the reason I kind of get on him for it. I just kind of like, it's kind of hypocritical in my eyes. But,
Yeah.
like, for the most part, like, if someone was ever insulted by any of the jokes I made as a, younger kid, then, I would apologize to them. I'm not apologizing to some random mob, though. I'm going to apologize to a person who directly, and if I offended a random mob, like, say they were really offended by something I said, right? I would apologize, but here's the worst part. I could apologize and fully mean it, and no one will ever believe you mean it. So then why should I ever apologize, and why should I ever get...
hell?
What? Yeah. Oh, this...
It's supposed to
okay.
be a Forge map.
Yeah. But yeah,
I
so
was
it's like,
what?
why should anyone apologize anymore, and why should anyone ever seek to better themselves when whenever they do so, they're just ridiculed and mocked?
Yeah, I don't really, I don't agree with the whole, like, well, once you've done this one thing, that's it.
Well, it's like how...
The thing is that
someone...
the people that they support, a lot of times, and when I say they, I mean, by extension, sometimes me, I don't know. They allow a little bit more of a leniency, I think.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, again, I still say, look at fucking Family Guy. And all the, like, just sexist, racist, homophobic jokes on there. Now, obviously,
Family
I don't
Guy's
want...
even got some shit that makes me kind of go, like...
That's too far.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally an episode
or even
where...
more of just the episode of, like, they allowed this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for God's sake, there's an episode where Peter gets a whip and goes to Cleveland, and you can imagine how that plays out. And it's like, if anyone made that skit on Facebook or YouTube, there would be article after article after article written about that.
Yeah.
That person would be canceled beyond mention. I mean, for God's sake, when the doorbell rings after Cleveland knows Peter has a whip, you hear Peter say, like, Crepe Soda Quarterly or something like that, and Cleveland just goes, well, I know the risk, but the reward is substantial, and goes and answers the door. Like, that is just all... Like, if anyone made that joke or Megan made a skit with that, it would be canceled in a heartbeat. Family Guy gets away with it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Family Guy should be canceled for that. I don't think really almost anyone should be canceled. Again, my rule of thumb is always just don't watch what you don't like.
Yeah.
I think that's the fair approach to most things.
And if you're not smart enough to, like, discern that that's obviously bullshit, then, I mean, I'm sorry.
That might make you the racist, actually.
But I mean, but you know what I'm saying. As far as just, like, not like that specifically, but just as far as like a lot of people like can't I don't know. Like a lot of people can't discern fact from fiction anymore. Like especially when
know.
it comes to like pop culture. And Family Guy is a really big perpetrator of that. Like we've talked about
Yeah.
before, where it's like, who the hell cared about what Matthew McConaughey was like or doing
Exactly.
before Family Guy brought that up?
I mean, all the hate towards Nickelback came from pop culture, not from any real hate towards Nickelback for the most part.
I wouldn't say I hate Nickelback, but I will say that I never really cared for their music. But that's just
Yeah.
more because it's just not my style.
But that's what I'm saying is, in pop culture made the joke of everyone hating Nickelback. Like, no one really ever
Yeah.
hated them. Like, the people just didn't like their music or like their music. It was pretty simple. Then it became a meme to hate them. So pop culture has real power. Like, people do not understand the power that pop culture
And
really
the whole,
does have.
like, not trying to get political, but just like this short little thing of how many people now say elections are between a douche and a turd because of
Yeah.
that South Park episode.
Yeah, no, entirely.
Even though in like the creators have since gone back on that. But even still, like it's I don't want to say funny, but just it's interesting that like the guys that make South Park have gone back on a lot of their own shit. It's just like, my God, like we I don't
See,
know.
I don't mind it entirely when they do that. Like if they go back on it later, because at that point it's like opinions change and all. I
Yeah.
just don't like the fact of like if you're one of the people who say like, well, I'm going to cancel this person because of what they said long ago. Remember what you said long ago, like really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's my whole thing. If I went on, like, pretty much everybody in high school that we know, if we went on their Facebook profiles, like back in high school,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Even mine. I was looking at like some of my shit before, I deleted my Facebook, and I mean, like saying the R word and stuff like that on there. That's a word that I just straight up wouldn't use now.
Yeah.
At least, like, not to like literally describe somebody. I don't know. I don't think I would ever use that word anymore.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Like, personally, I still use it to a certain level, but
Yeah.
I totally get why you wouldn't. I mean, that makes perfect sense. But thing is, like, yeah, your opinions change. So if someone went back there and said, "Look at him, he encourages people to say the R word," it's like, no, you don't.
Hell, I used the F word, the other F word.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
times
Well, because also
on there.
back then
And
it
like
was
I made jokes about like emo kids cutting themselves and stuff. I mean, I wasn't very proud of. Like, I looked back and I'm like, wow, that's just cringy as shit. Like, on my part.
But see, what I don't like about how like a lot of people are being judged for what they did a long time ago, especially when it comes to like high school age shit. It's like that's when you learn shit, right? That's where you learn
Yeah.
kind of.
Who did anything responsible in high school?
Yeah.
Like emotionally or physically or whatever. Like, I'm sorry, nobody did.
Exactly. I mean, the fact is everyone does stuff they're not proud of. To judge people based on the worst part of their life in a way, and not really the worst part of life, just like maybe the worst idea they held at some point in their life, it's just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to do. Like,
Yeah.
It's the whole thing of, they're going, and now people are like, well, everyone says don't speak ill of the dead, but don't be a dick in life and all this shit. And it's kind of like, listen, I kind of get where you're going for. You want to recognize the bad people did and all, but we also want to remember people for what good they did as well. Like, it's like that glass half full versus glass half empty. Like, you want to acknowledge stuff that you've done bad in your past, but you also want to acknowledge the fact that, what happened since that one point in time. Because people's opinions do change. Things change about them. If you judge me based on who I was in high school, you would go, who's that suicidal emo freak? Like, that was me in high school.
I like how we just have Iran in the game.
I like how MLK Milky's been with us this whole time.
And I like sneakers. I like sneakers too, buddy.
Why is it always me and you who get into deep conversations about shit?
Milky left.
Oh.
Poor guy, or girl, or them. I don't know. I don't know what Milky's all about. I won't pretend to know their life.
Let's see.
They
Oh,
could be
bullshit.
related to Martin Luther King, for all I know.
Somehow I sincerely doubt that.
You never know. I feel like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like anybody that's related to Martin Luther King is just like a genuinely good person. I don't know. I don't feel like they're the type of person that would sit around and play video games. Put it that way.
Are you judging people for playing too many video games?
Yes, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I include myself in that, too.
I mean, if you're self-aware, it does make it a little bit better.
I
mean, it
hate, I
is
hate
true.
that logic of, well, at least I know I'm an asshole, but, like, you know what I mean.
Okay, it's a difference to say, well, at least I know I'm an asshole. Because for one, you can stop being a fucking asshole pretty easily, right? Like, that's just, I mean, just stop being an ass. But, like,
I don't
saying
know
that
why,
you
I
have,
just
like,
really got-
saying that you have, like, a certain vice, I think is a little different than a personality flaw.
Oh, jeez. What the heck? Oh.
Because, like, everyone, like, obviously, like, everyone has their vice, and, not Halo, I don't want to say Halo's a vice. Video games
That's
are a
the only
vice.
game I
Like,
play these days.
yeah. Like, there's very little that's actually good about video games, more so it's just pure entertainment. Like, the same thing, there's very little that's good about, like, watching football. It's just, you do it because it's entertaining and it takes your mind off shit that's going on in the real world. It's your time to kind of decompress. Everyone needs decompression. But, like, would your time be better spent reading a book? Yes, that would be a better, way to spend your time. That would actually, drive you to do better and just in your regular day-to-day life. I always do love, though, when people try to defend, like, their bad habits through some, like, weird method. Like, I drink, but, it's still better than soda. It's like,
Is it? Really?
I think it depends on how much you drink.
I mean, I don't know.
I think in some ways, yes, but it's also, like, how bad do you think sugar is for your body as well? And then what type of beer are you also
that's fair.
drinking as well? Like, there is some evidence say, like, drinking, like, more of a dark ale and kind of, like, a thicker beer is actually not nearly as bad for you as, like, drinking, like, lighter alcohol, because lighter alcohol is pretty much just empty calories, while, like, a darker ale, yeah, it's still not, like, you're not getting, like, a ton of protein or anything, but you are getting, you're basically drinking liquid bread, right, for a thicker beer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then hard liquor is just something else entirely.
exactly.
I mean, it's not empty calories, but it's not exactly anything good.
So I think it depends on what you're drinking, but I do think some bits of alcohol are probably better than soda, but then again, I have a very pessimistic outlook on soda in general, even though I do drink it, obviously.
I don't really drink soda all that much, so I don't know. I mostly
really-
just drink water.
I really do think health-wise, it is possibly the worst thing that has been introduced to society. Like, not of course, I mean, as in, like, for commonplace food. I'm not going to include, like, cigarettes
Oh
and
yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to, like,
I'd agree with that.
when it comes to, like, diets and stuff, I think the soda is possibly the worst thing that's been introduced to the average diet. And again, I drink soda.
Think of how many people go, like, hey, what can I get you to drink? You got soda? Like,
Yeah.
it's,
You want Pepsi or Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew. I don't
Yeah.
got Mountain Dew. That's an inside joke, people.
I know. I knew exactly what you were talking about. Like, the whole memory and everything just came, like, so clear in my mind.
That was so great.
Oh, man.
Oh god. But no, I like, soda is, like, just so fucking filled with sugar and just empty. Just it is terrible for
That
you. And
corn syrup and stuff is terrible
that's
for you.
even worse too. Like, if you drink, like, an actual sugar soda, it is far better for you than a fucking corn syrup anything. Corn syrup is the fucking worst thing we've introduced to, like, modern food making now. It is awful for you. It is disgusting for you.
There was a guy on Twitch, and he's like a music theory guy. He actually has a YouTube channel, but he streams on Twitch every now and then, and his streams are always very interesting because he's a very like articulate. I don't know, like he's just very interesting to watch and to listen to. But he was talking about how like the reason that like corn syrup became so prevalent is because we have like such a huge surplus of corn that they literally just had to find something to do with it.
Well, we got the huge surplus of corn because corn is one of the subsidized crops that the government will basically help pay for. So the government subsidizing corn encouraged farmers to grow a shit ton of it, which made people find a shit ton of uses for it. And which led to, of course, more people using corn syrup instead of, just sugar. Because again, the subsidies kind of started more so for like ethanol and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it kind of devolved. And of course, everything has unintended consequences. And that was one of the unintended consequences, unfortunately. Now, the
it's
sort of
kind
how...
of weird to think that corn could like prevent like climate change.
Also,
like if every
all
car
things,
was like fueled with ethanol, you know what I mean?
The only thing is, it's just not a very efficient fuel. Like we kept saying we would make it efficient, and it just, we've yet to really find a way to make it efficient.
At this point, I think, not even I think, it's just the way it is. Electric is going to be the next thing to replace gasoline, I think.
I agree to a point. My only issue with it is right now, like you look at like how the lithium batteries are actually mined and for like how that works. The destruction it does to the environment is extremely substantial. It is. Yeah. When it comes to like fossil fuels, might lead to a overall problem in the climate for sure. When you're talking about localized climate issues, an oil rig does less damage to this local climate than and I'm talking about like one of the ones that are actually on ground, not like a ocean-based one. It does less damage than those lithium mines do. And so I think that actually still is a problem. And also, you gotta think this, where is electricity coming from? Is it coming from, most time it's coming from coal, which is also still non-renewable, and still causes tons of carbon emissions, right? Like, So I think there's still a lot to work out there. Solar is still not cost efficient either. Like I would really love to have solar in my future house because living off the grid would be awesome with solar. But by the time it's made up its cost, it's still, you basically are going to have to repairs on it that exceeds the amount you get. It's still just not efficient entirely. Wind takes up so much space. It has plenty of issues with that. Like we're still looking for what I think is going to be I still say we need to go nuclear. And the fact is nuclear reactors is totally different than what it used to be too. It's no longer just using like straight fucking uranium. We're using thorium now. All right, thorium does not fucking melt down. You don't have the meltdown issues with thorium reactors. Yet we just ignore it now. And plenty of countries in the world use nuclear reactors right now. You never hear about it. Our military uses nuclear powered submarines as well as ships. You were never going to make it safe by just ignoring it.
Every aircraft carrier is nuclear powered now.
Exactly. And so I truly think that is the future. I think the ultimate future is going to be fusion whenever the hell we get to that, because that is how the sun powers itself, that fusion is how the cosmos works. Like that is the ultimate power source. But when we're talking like right now, we can utilize thorium reactors right now. But unfortunately, people just still view it as, it's terrible for the environment. It's terrible for the environment.
Well, the other thing is that, our government is kind of in the pocket of big oil.
Oh, of course.
So,
of course.
That's probably one of the biggest things. And it's not just our government either. It's around the globe. Oil still is a huge thing.
There's a reason why they call it the petrol dollar.
Yeah.
Because really our dollar is more tied to oil than it is tied to, anything else, which is a shame because, of course, fucking, again, not trying to get political, but I'm just going to say it. Nixon took us off the fucking gold standard, that jackass. That getting off the gold standard was the fucking worst things we ever fucking did. FDR started the process. Nixon finished the process. Getting off the gold standard was the worst thing we ever did for currency. Mass inflation now, nonstop. I know everyone's happy about the stimulus stuff going out, but guess what? That just inflated. Mass inflation's coming. It's going to be terrible. Buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin now. That's my final lesson in this last match of the night.
yeah.
It's buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, I appreciate the check, but I am very wary of the effect on the economy, because we're basically just running off of an imaginary credit card at this point. We have been for a while. I mean, evidently with, anyways, not to, I'm trying to steer off the political stuff.
Well, here's how we steer away from it. We basically say when it comes to national debt, everyone's at fucking fault. There isn't I don't care if you're right or left. Everyone has run up the fucking debt. It is. But and you talk about, everyone goes, well, it's both sides, kind of just as a way to kind of appease people a lot of times. No, this is a both sides fucking thing. No one should be offended at someone talking about the national debt, because everyone runs it up. My favorite president has run it up. Your favorite president has run it up. Everyone's fucking run it up. So,
out of curiosity, who do you think my favorite president is?
Well, I'm just mostly talking about in our lifetime, just to kind of since we sit on opposite ends of the aisle, obviously.
Oh.
So
still, who do you think my favorite president is?
Maybe I'm going cliche with some of your beliefs. I maybe FDR.
Huh. Well, now that I think about it, I don't know. I would say... I don't know. I honestly really don't know, because even I have my issues with how FDR did things.
You mean like running concentration camps for Japanese folk? I guess they were concentration camps. They didn't die, but internment camps, I guess. Still fucked up.
Yeah. That.
Throwing people in jail for rolling their own bread.
That and stacking the Supreme Court.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
just straight
that's
up
awful.
Unconstitutional.
Yeah. That fucking awful. Well, then, what do you? I guess then, who would be your favorite president then?
I don't know. If I had to just give an off the top of my head answer, I would probably say Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I could see why you would say that. I totally could see that way. And obviously, we're not going. We're mentioning this and trying not to get too political. So I'll just say no. I could see with the policies that he had why you would probably agree with him to a certain level.
Yeah.
Who would you guess would be mine then?
Yours is probably a little bit tougher, to be honest, because Reagan is probably the cliche answer, but
yeah, it's not Reagan. I'll say that.
Huh. I hope. Well, never mind.
It's not what you're thinking, though. I obviously I do like him. It's not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I love all I had to do. All you had to do was go. Well, I don't want to say. I knew exactly what you were talking about. But no, not even close.
I don't know.
I'll at least say this: it was in the 1900s. It was in the 1900s.
Oh, the 1900s. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, I love a lot of the founding fathers over, a lot of the early, obviously the first 10 presidents. There's a lot that be said about all of them. But
20th century president.
Done.
Mom wants Taco Bell. She wants it delivered. She doesn't want to drive. Do you want Taco Bell?
Sure.
What do you want?
I don't know. Let's get me beef and beans, whatever. I don't really care.
Beef and beans what?
I don't know, like a burrito, or do they have burritos at Taco Bell? I haven't ate Taco Bell since high school. I have no idea.
Oh, it's on an ad.
I was gonna say, I think I was a sophomore in high school the last time I ate at Taco Bell.
I mean, a soft shell taco with beef and beans would also be delicious to me, which is basically just a burrito.
Let's see.
Still thinking there?
JFK?
No, but I do like him for a lot of reasons. Of course, he tried to get back to the gold standard, so I love that, and he wanted to get rid of the feds, so I'm obviously a big fan of those things. But that's a good guess.
That, I honestly have no clue.
It's one that most people don't even think about. It's Calvin Coolidge. I'm a
wow.
I was
That was
I'm a,
gonna
I'm
be
a
my second
huge
answer.
Calvin Coolidge. Like, for one, he was so much against the president having all the power the president has that he basically made a point not to be in the public for a lot of ways and just reduce the power and give the power away over and over and over. And I love that. He was once interviewed at a party. The interviewer comes up to him and says, I bet someone that I could get you to say more than 3 words.
Oh yeah,
and
said,
he just
"You
says,
lose."
yeah, you lose, and then walked away.
This is what I normally get, the beefy 5-layer burrito. It has nacho cheese, beef, beans, sour cream, and cheddar cheese.
Take away the sour cream, I'm good.
No sour cream.
Yep.
I didn't realize Taco Bell delivered
Want
this
cheese?
late.
Sure, yeah.
Huh.
No sour cream.
Well, yeah,
But-
for Taco Bell, I guess that makes
You want a
sense.
salsa?
they're the food of the drunks and the
You
stoned.
I'm about to say, they're always open. No, I got water.
You just want one burrito.
2.
2 burritos.
2 burritos. Yeah, so now everyone knows who each of our favorite president is. Mine is Calvin
So you're
Coolidge.
almost done?
Yep, about
Wanna
done now.
watch a movie with us?
Yeah, that'd be good. Which is why I'm getting off now. But Calvin
Alright.
Coolidge reduced power of the president, balanced our budget to a point where we had a surplus of tax income coming in versus us being in debt, kept us out of really any major foreign entanglement because I'm very, some people are now saying, don't say anti-war, say pro-peace. I mean, sure, whatever the phrase is now. Okay, I don't like war for the most part. So kept us out of most foreign entanglements, very isolationship to a certain level, which I kind of like, and basically just a very much just, let's not involve ourselves with people's lives. That's the job of the states. So I'm a big Calvin Coolidge fan all the way. My personal favorite president of all time. And then, of course, you get to which one's the most fun president historically, and that's a whole nother ball game.
It really is.
Because there's a lot of great stories about people like Adams and Jefferson.
Yeah. I can't.
presidents
I just love
joining
the fact
each
that
other.
Adam's last words were "Jefferson lives."
I mean, this fucker could have said to his loved ones, my only regret is not spending more time with you, or, like, all of you have made life so worth living. Instead, he looks to his loved ones and says, come here, come closer. Yes, honey? Jefferson lives.
And what was the worst part of it was that Jefferson had died hours earlier.
I know. They hated it.
like,
That's what people say.
That-
We're
that's a
polarized
fucking
now.
movie.
Yeah, I'm like, when
Like-
people say we're polarized now, these fuckers went to their grave despising one another.
Jefferson.
Instead of saying their last goodbyes to their loved ones, they said one final curse to the man they hated most. I love it. Like, I mean, obviously, you should never live with that much hate in your heart. It will consume you to such a degree, but you know what? They fucking own their hatred, and I gotta respect the fuck out of it. I just can't imagine looking to my wife and children on my deathbed and then instead going, that fucker, and just dying. It is just so great. It should not be reality. It should totally be a work of fiction. And God knows it might be for all we know, but it's such a good story.
I think it was on HBO, the John Adams miniseries.
Great,
with
fucking
Paul Giamatti playing him.
great.
Oh yeah, no, that is a great miniseries.
Fucking awesome. And they showed a tar and feathering properly in the first fucking episode. I think it was the first episode. Could have been the second. But when they, like, everyone imagines the tar and feathering be this, like, kind of like, haha, funny thing. No, they poured hot fucking tar that burnt the fucking skin off your bones, basically, over your body as you screamed in pain. And then threw fucking chicken feathers at you afterwards. Like, the tar being poured over you was torturous. It was a horrendous punishment. Yet now we look at it as a, haha, he looks like a chicken. Like, the reality is the man is in so much pain, his body is in shock.
it was incredibly nuanced.
Oh, very much so.
Its portrayal of Adams and everybody. Really.
And the reason is because they did a lot. That's the example of how they actually looked at. And here's the funny thing: everyone goes, "We don't know what the founding fathers would have thought about X." Yes, we do. They had journals. We know what they thought about everything for the most part. They wrote down. There's most of the shit in the Constitution is not really that much up for the interpretation. If you just read their fucking journals, they're very straightforward about it. So they actually, for the show, really delved into a lot of their own personal journals, which allowed them to actually create just a phenomenal show. Like, that is one of those things, if they showed that in history class, I would be okay with. There is still some fiction in there, obviously, but it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It is on my top list of shows that people should watch.
With Stannis the Manus as Thomas Jefferson. That's the
Which
best
is
fucking
a
part.
great fucking choice, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that, to me, that still might be one of HBO's just best works they've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I put. I'm not sure I'm going to put Game of Thrones there anymore because of how it ended.
That's.
I don't know.
The Sopranos is definitely up there.
I was going to make that number 2, but now I think that has to be number 1. So,
that might honestly just be their best, like, all-around show.
Amazing. But, like,
so
for me, then it's probably Sopranos, Game of Thrones, John Adams, Deadwood, and then I think it was HBO that did that show. Was either HBO or Stars who did that show, Rome?
that was HBO.
That was HBO. Okay, yeah. That series, Rome, again, it's historical fiction, obviously fictional characters and real settings. One of the most historically accurate representations of the moments leading up to Caesar's demise and Augustus's rise. Like, just fantastic. The guy who played Mark Antony was awesome. I loved it. That series, Rome, just historically accurate as can be for a fictional project, as well as they kept the culture the way it should have been. Like, you always have these shows where it's going to past and they're like, well, we love each other and we'll go against the, what they say about what marriage should be, and they have these modern ideas of, romance. When they fucking just tell their daughter when she's marrying someone, she's like, but I don't love him. And they go, how silly. Of course you don't love him. You're not married to him yet. Love is something you work at after you're married. This was a concept that was, for them. They don't sit there and go on about the horrors of them enslaving all these people they're kidnapping. They look at it as very much, well, this is just part of our time. So you don't have that kind of bullshit of that one character who just like, I understand modern ideals of virtue. No, they don't, because they're not modern people. They're living in the past. Like, obviously one character's a bit more nice, but they're not opposed to certain things. Like, when a dude finds out, like, his wife is cheating on him, he doesn't go and does, like, the thing that we would do today. He takes up a knife and is about to fucking just kill her, not because he wants to, just because it's what you're supposed to do. Like, they really showed what the culture would have been very similar to it. They did a great job with it, tons of research into it, great acting. I mean, basically everyone you see in Game of Thrones is in fucking that show. It's awesome. Huge fan of the Rome series as well, even though it did go too soon. Like, the second season is like 2 seasons combined into one, unfortunately, but they ended it well. But I'm going to end on that because I'm going to go watch a movie with my wife and my mother-in-law. So
Cool.
Thank you everyone for watching, especially if you're watching a replay of our bizarre conversations, because for some reason when it's just me and Hayden, things just get, I don't know. They either go like really deep or go. They go like deep and then strange and then weird. Like, it's never structured. It's just kind of rambling on and on and on. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully next time we'll have the whole gang. I will not be leaving on any more trips until my kid is born. So I am here for quite a while longer. Hopefully, well, unless it's an early delivery, I guess we're about, I guess we're within a month now. We're within a month of the due date. So awesome. Yeah. So I'm home for at least probably a month and a little bit after that, but I'm not sure if I'll stream right after we have a kid anyway. So by about a month I'll actually be here. So we'll actually have this full setting, which will be nice, and we can actually stream on Fridays, and I'll be still streaming on Mondays and Wednesdays as well. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, back to the normal stream schedule for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.